Wacky World of Ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Memories of the Cherry Blossom Throne. This evening's scene takes place in the Inn of Peaceful Respite, the rather opulent building that occupies a southerly section of the noble quarter abutting the Hajime Cemetery that sees to the memorials of many dead members of the imperial family. The inn itself is open and bright, however, it is exclusive with only the alabaster aristocracy, the undead nobility being allowing to sup sweetly from its delectatious delights. And so it is this evening that we join a group of these individuals as they come for an evening's entertainment. We will start with Lady Irene, who has spent the more than likely the last 3 or 4 hours being carted from one seamstress to another, one lacery to another, until she has emerged with enough outfits to costume a woman all the way through Winter Court and back, all under the generosity of Lord Maury.
Oh dear. Yeah, so she probably comes back down from having packed away all the shopping that she did and wears like a let's just go with a green like a light green kimono, I guess. She kind of has to get used to this type of clothing.
It's a lot of layers and a lot of folds.
I mean, layers is not necessarily much the issue. Like you had layers 300 years ago, but yeah, this is different kind of layers though.
You were greeted by something you were not expecting as you round the corner and enter into the lobby or enter into the common room. In order to enter into the common room, you have to walk down a set of stairs that leads you to the entrance hall. Then you take a left into the common room proper. You were greeted by something you've never seen before, and frankly caused you to stop dead. There is a man standing there in rather excellently made silk kimono. He is dressed as a gentleman would be, except he is entirely and totally without a face.
Yeah, that's awkward.
You can see the outline where the face would have once been. There is the slight protuberance from the face where the nose should be, but there are no nostrils. You merely see the slit of a mouth running across where the mouth should be located upon the face.
Not the most disturbing thing Irene has ever seen, but it's getting close to it.
Minori, that is of course you.
I was about to ask, is that me or is that another one?
That is of course you.
Hmm. Me. I would put a description of why Minori's here, but I don't know why he's here. Probably
You
to
could just
enjoy.
be here in order to enjoy an evening, or maybe to talk to a business contact.
Yeah. I think he's here to be social because sometimes he's got to enjoy himself sometimes.
So yes, you see a beautiful woman, clearly of Gaijin origin, walk down the stairs in a new and very expensive-looking kimono. Actually, Irene, roll me your manipulation subterfuge.
Okay, not her best dice pool, but sure.
Minori, roll me your perception plus your empathy.
What do you want me to roll?
Uh,
Perception plus your empathy.
Righto.
I just need to get into the fucking dice roller. Uh,
I'm assuming vigilant does not apply.
No, however, your Auspex rating will lower the difficulty from 6 to... What is your Auspex rating?
3.
You're rolling this at difficulty 3.
that is one meager success. Cause yay, my dice pools. Yo. Well, my dice rolls really. My luck.
mean, this is Liam we're talking about, the man who invented ones. Oh.
I mean, no, he did not.
I did. Did you see, Connor? Good lord!
I mean,
Like during his
I can
one
tell
shining
you
moment.
stories, dear. I can tell you stories. I will not do so now.
During his one shining moment where they were going to save the world, he tripped on a tree root and didn't actually reach the point in time before it got closed off.
I remember that. She is terrified of you. You can almost smell the fear.
Is she? Okay.
Well, how would you describe it? Freaked out, unnerved, scared?
Unnerved.
Okay. She is unnerved by you.
I mean, I think Irene has courage 5, so she's not that easily scared.
He's just gonna sigh, be like, I should have brought the hat, shouldn't I?
My apologies for staring, and Irene will attempt
Wait,
to
you were
make
staring?
a proper bow. Indeed. Evan, do you want me to roll something to have that proper bow memorized?
No, you can just copy what you were shown.
Okay,
Minori doesn't see any of this because he's blind.
that's fine. She will still bow because, if anything, Irene does etiquette. Always.
To be fair, if I wasn't blind, it would have been a much more terrifying sight.
Probably, yeah.
All right, next we will have our newest little vampire. The little vampire that could enter the establishment.
She will enter the main area in just a simple black yukata with some golden floral designs on it. Her hair's pulled back, but it's not super done up tonight. Tonight she's just there to relax after traveling all this way to Kyoto.
One of the horses that were carrying your luggage down from that very specific place fell and died. You were not best pleased.
Oh, then yeah, no, I am not pleased. She's definitely very irritated then.
It had your pillow books in it.
No!
Inconsiderate
Not the cool
horse.
books. How dare that horse die?
I spent a willpower not to frenzy upon the horse.
Want to beat its corpse.
Quite literally beating a dead horse.
As you enter, one of the attendants who is kneeling by the door will bow very deeply and she will say, "Welcome, honored lady, to the House of Blessed Respite."
She will bow slightly in kind and ask to be taken to a table.
As great lady wishes, so shall it be done. She kneels up very, very slowly onto her feet, like she hops up, and she will bring you into the common room where you will see two individuals standing, one of them in the form of Minori, the other in the form of Lady Irene.
Hi.
Hello there.
Irene will not say hi, by the way. That was just me. I Do I realize I need to roll my nightmares? But I'll do that shortly. But she'll bow again.
Minori's just
Do I
going to
need
follow
to-
whatever etiquette is appropriate.
Do I need to roll something? Because the guy doesn't have a face?
No, as a matter of fact, you're relatively used to them.
Alright,
They're a specific vampire bloodline that are native to Japan.
All
They're
right.
a type of the Nosferatu. Basically, when they're embraced, they lose their face.
oh goodness. Alright, well... She will nod slightly to the Gajin woman that bows to her and just kind of look at the no-faced rice merchant. Before I'm assuming she's led to a table and then just taking a seat.
All right, and last but not least, Lady Evelyn.
And I am back, just as you said my name.
Winning!
Perfect timing. Evelyn probably spends a good bit of time here when she's not, with Famoshi, so... And she probably, at the very least, knows Minori. She's been here for 70 years, I should hope so.
I'd imagine so.
And they're both merchants of a different type, but
Then they probably definitely know each other.
yeah, because, she sells dresses and kimonos. Now that she's been here long enough and knows how to make them. Yes, she will come in, probably wearing a light purple kimono. And will give a bow to the group.
Lady Evelyn, it's a pleasure to see. Well, not quite. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It is a pleasure to see you, Minori.
And under much better circumstances.
Indeed. The circumstances under which we last saw one another were less than pleasant.
I had to get a new walk.
Oh no.
It dented.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry for that. Lady Irene.
I do, however, have a perfect imprint of the wizard's face now.
Irene will curtsy, Lady Evelyn. For as far as you can curtsy in a kimono, because I think that's actually quite hard.
She will bow for Irene. Because she's been here for 70 years. She's used to the etiquette.
I mean, Irene is really happy that she can, just curtsy to someone without immediately insulting them. This
Yeah.
is a form of etiquette that she's used to.
The
She
double
does it
doors
exquisitely.
that you all entered will open again as two servants open them, and you will see this woman stride into the room. She is quite tall by this standard. She stands about 6 foot tall, and she is otherworldly beautiful to look upon. She is appearance 7. She is tall, matriarchal, but still maintains the sweet femininity. She looks around the room with a very cool, impassive gaze. Okay, so this is going to be one of the first roles that new player is going to make. So I'm just going to coach them through it. The rest of you can roll just intelligence politics to identify who she is. So for Fox, you basically roll a pool equal to your intelligence plus your politics in d10s.
Standard
You will
diff.
acquire it's standard diff, yeah. So difficulty 6.
You said intelligence politics?
Yes, politics.
Two successes for the Eevee.
Yep, same here.
A whole success.
Oh, poor old Tally has no idea. Okay, so for the other two, this woman is Shirakaki Sendo. She is an elder, a very old elder of Clan Toreador, and she basically represents the Toreador interests practically all over Japan.
How many successes did we need to know that?
Just the one. She's quite famous.
Okay.
She also doesn't live in Kyoto. She only breezes in through here whenever she feels like it.
Minori will
Normally,
bow.
normally
yes,
she lives
Evelyn
in,
will give a very deep bow.
normally she lives in the city of Kai, which is located in the middle of Japan.
Same here, bow.
My. So many interesting faces.
Or lack thereof.
She looks at you, and there's a slight hiss that she lets out before she will simply walk past you as if you didn't exist. She will, however, walk to one of you. She will walk, and without asking permission, she will sit at the same table that the Nakadori is sitting at. Sorry, my brain just had a moment there. And she will say, I had not expected to see someone of your personage here in Kyoto, my dear. Never mind, you have no idea who this incredibly beautiful woman is. She's just talking to you.
She will smile and offer a respectful seated bow. It was a personal request that I come here, one that I could not refuse.
Indeed. You will have to extend your grandfather my most cordial and well-meant greeting upon your next meeting with him.
Of course, it would be my pleasure to extend such regards to him.
I have paid rather handsomely to know when it is that certain individuals come and go from this place. Your name is one of those individuals. If that's why you may be curious as to what, if you're curious as to how I know that you're here, the simple fact of the matter is that you are a person of great interest, my dear. You ultimately represent not only a piece upon the board, but a piece that controls other pieces upon the board. We are all very hungry to see where these pieces will end up moving.
since Nakadori has no idea who this woman is, she will continue to have her politely pleasant expression and nod sage-like.
Well, Kyoto is made all the brighter by your presence. Frankly, between you and I, this land is becoming far too much of a sewer, where it is the refuse of the rest of the world is able to congregate.
I think
All
she's
of you
talking
can hear
about you.
that. She literally just said, "Fuck the gaijin."
Well, then we must meet again in a place more suited to your liking.
I quite agree. Will you be my guest for tea?
I would be delighted to be your guest for tea.
Very good. I did not introduce myself. My name is Soranake Embe. That's the moment you realize that, oh shit, she's actually really important.
All right, then. Her expression does not change. Aside from her smile widening just ever so slightly at the recognition. And she'll bow her head slightly once more. I would introduce myself, but it seems you already know who I am.
As I said, my dear, that information came at great personal expense. The Nosferatu are not cheap, and though they are a trifling bore, they are necessary. But yes, you're quite right. This place is far too common. If you would mind, we shall speak again when it is you come for tea.
Uh, then it is settled. We will speak again at a date and place of your choosing for tea.
Delightful. With that, she will stand up again with that same languid grace, and she will nod her head to Minori, but she will simply stride past the other two as if they didn't exist before she will leave via the main door.
Minori has a Cheshire Cat grin, which is probably really unsettling considering the rest of his face.
For Lady Evelyn, because you got 2 successes on your politics roll, and obviously you're actually from here, she is known to publicly and vehemently dislike foreigners.
Yeah. She's not going to say anything.
She nodded at me.
Nakidori is probably going to chuckle slightly and just kind of lounge there for a moment.
It seems you have friends in high places.
So it does. So it does.
Those who are listening to the conversation will note that she did speak rather enamoredly with this individual's grandfather, and that seemed to be the connection that they latched onto. Continue.
It seems you're surprised.
Not surprised, just unexpected.
That's fair.
For the record, you will not really see the servant, but they will wend their way to Nakadori's table and they will place down a fine tray of tea and sake. Interesting enough, if you pour the sake into a cup, you will see the fact that they have, in fact, fermented human blood.
All right then. She will glance about the room after this silence that followed the woman's departure while sipping lightly at her drink.
Do forgive me, I don't think I've asked your name.
You may call me Nakidori.
Minori.
Somewhere off in the distance, you will simply hear echoed on the winds, "The second best rice merchant in all of Kyoto."
That was rather strange.
He doesn't
You
have
don't
eyes.
actually hear them.
He doesn't.
I'm just
I was
fucking
going to
with
say
Midori.
he doesn't. He doesn't have eyes, but he just looks out the window and he just squints, even though he has no eyes.
Somewhere out there, Polan is plotting against you, the Noodle Man.
Poland the noodle man. I love how that rolls off the tongue. It's so good. It's gotten very quiet all of a sudden.
Would you care for a drink, Minori?
Actually, yes, I could.
It's fermented blood, so yes, you can drink it.
You seem like an important person worth knowing. Yep, Minori's got to sit himself at the table. He's offering the best smile he can without having a face. He's trying. Though I do believe there are two other people here, maybe. They'd wish to join us?
If they wish to join, I will not stop them. It's always nice familiarizing yourself with local people.
Shayna, Saskia, do you exist?
Do they?
I don't know.
I mean, yes, but that is a conversation between the two of them. There has not actually been an invitation besides an indirect one. I mean, in this environment where she doesn't know the rules, she is not going to take an indirect invitation as an offer to come and sit. Like, so she's just staying in her corner, quietly watching everything that's going on and trying to pick up on like local etiquette. And we did lose Shayna.
I'm sure she'll be back in a moment.
Doesn't she control the button?
Yes.
Yes, but it's still going.
But yeah, sorry. So extend the invite. We do apologize.
Minori will get up and actually extend the invite after like a period where it becomes obvious that she's new and doesn't quite understand.
Yeah, that's like the understatement of the century. In that case, yeah, Irene will move forward. We'll walk up to the table. We'll bow. My apologies. I am not quite aware of the social interaction in this country. I've only arrived yesterday.
Think nothing
I'm
of
sure
it.
you'll pick it up.
This place isn't nearly so formal, so it's. And I understand that you're still learning, so at least there's that. You're at least trying.
I've been here almost all my life, and I spend most of my time harassing people while following them with a cart. I usually leave them
Wait.
alone when they buy rice.
Ah, I see. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Irene Argueris, Clan La Sombra.
Carried on the wind, you hear somebody say, "I'm so sorry for you."
Yep, Irene does say that. That's a little hesitant because she's heard things about the La Sombra yesterday, so she's not quite sure what the reaction is going to be. But,
Wait,
she doesn't come across as a typical La Sombra, though.
what have the list done?
Yeah, there was some news yesterday. I don't know if it's like, something that the general public would know, so...
It does say anything in the rumors channel, so I'm going to assume no.
Well, this night just keeps
That's-
getting more and more interesting.
I just realized, is there anyone who can actually add Shayna if she comes back?
Maybe?
I hope so. Oh, she can probably add
Oh.
herself. Yeah.
She's messaged me on Discord.
Okay.
She's having connection issues. She mentions her
Oh.
browser's frozen apparently.
That's annoying.
When Irene sits, Nakidori will slide a cup over to her and smile and say, I am known as Nakidori Tani. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is all mine. She'll take a cup, look into it, because that's strange. But she'll try it.
It is fermented blood. It is up to you if you like it or not.
Interesting. I will think about it, whether she likes it or not. If she dislikes it, she would not show it anyway.
It is at this moment that the flap of the silk will open again, and this individual will enter. One thing that many of you here will not recognize, but Irene will, out of character, can you see the necklace he's wearing?
Yep.
You know what that symbol is.
Hmm.
The others here probably won't.
Oh
Do excuse me. I was led to understand that I could find a sister of my clan here. My apologies, I do not mean to interrupt what is undoubtedly a pleasant evening.
You say that as though your presence is unpleasant.
I have found that it is better to, how would one say, ask forgiveness rather than permission in many cases.
Oh, Irene does not agree with that statement at all. But, you know, she'll rise, and despite the kimono, will again attempt to curtsy because obviously he will know what a curtsy is.
Ah, sister, where are my manners? It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I had heard that one of our illustrious brothers and sisters got off the boat in Nagasaki. My name is Bishop Hernandez Paulo Granadini. The blessings of our dark father be upon you.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Irene Arguedes.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. You will have to excuse me. Once again, I did not mean to disrupt your conversation, but there are so few of my blood in the land of the rising sun that when I heard about Miss Arguedes, I simply had to come and see for myself.
I am sure that no one here does mind the introduction.
I am so glad to hear it. But yes, Miss Arguedes, it is a pleasure to meet you. I hope that your trip was not too arduous.
It was quite enjoyable.
Did you come via the Portuguese route over the Straits of Magellan, or did you take the long way around?
I traveled overland mostly.
How variant. And you are Master Minori. I've heard a great deal about you.
I believe we've already met.
Indeed, very briefly. We did not have time to properly converse. Allah, where are my manners? As I said, I am but a humble priest in the true way of the sword of Cain. It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure's all mine.
He will extend his hand. At which point he stops himself and then he will bow. It's like one of those muscle memory things. And who is this? And who is this delightful flower?
She will make a point of looking to the other two before looking back at the priest. Waiting a moment. And then go, I am known as Nakidori Tani. What brings you to the fine land of Japan?
I'm merely here to spread the true word of our Dark Father to all of those whom share his blood and whom walk the nights, my child. For the record, out of character, it is entirely okay if you understand literally nothing that comes out of his mouth, because you can ask for clarification, because your character would also have no idea what the fuck's coming out of his mouth.
All right. She's gonna stare at him a moment because he just called her his child, and that doesn't click well with her.
Mhm.
Irene knows what he's talking about, and she does not like it, but she will hide it.
What? What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on those words for me a little bit? I'm afraid I don't quite understand.
I would be more than delighted to. We are all children of Cain, our dark father, whom committed the first act of murder when he slew his brother Abel. And then he embraced onto him the individuals whom would become the founders of our clans, who in turn he in turn embraced onto himself several of the individuals of the night, whom each themselves went on to embrace those whom would found our clans. Then our dark father, in his wisdom, smote each of these accursed beings with his own curse and sent them away from his sight. Only when each one of these deathless entities, these founders of our clans, these perversities of blood made manifest, is dealt with, shall we live forever in the eternal, perpetual twilight of our dark father. We are the swords of Cain. We are his holy lance. We are called Sabbat. Hey, Evan, there's a Sabbat.
Rather not deal with that. I am back now, by the way. My browser completely froze up.
Oh no.
This is Minori's response.
I'm just really fucking glad that the stream kept going. Yeah, Evelyn's not touching that with a 50-foot pole. Nope. Hmm.
Interesting.
Have I answered your question, Lady Minori? Oh, sorry, not Lady Minori. Bleh. I can use my brain today.
Oh
I'm
my.
tired.
Minori blushes.
How could you tell?
Big old red egg.
I of course mean Lady Nakadori. He says, "Have I explained? Have I explained to your satisfaction?"
I believe I've got the gist of it now.
I am delighted to hear. If you are interested, you are more than welcome to come to our sermons to hear more.
I will have to give that invitation great thought before I accept.
Of course, and Lady Irene, I shall be expecting to see you at services. May the blessings of our Dark Father be upon you all. I shall bid you good evening. And with that, he will bow very deeply and respectfully before turning and making his way out.
Urge to say go with God is so much on Irene's lips, but she is going to keep her mouth shut. There's no point in immediately, trying to destroy yourself. Progress.
What?
The one thing I love is that he now expects Irene to show up to services.
Yeah,
what-
that's gonna be a problem.
Once he's left, Minori's just going to idly say to himself, "I wonder if this Sebbit would like rice."
I doubt it, but they might take the opportunity to talk with you more.
Well, the Portuguese do have lots of money, and those black ships.
Well, if you see a business opportunity, hard be it for me to stand in your way.
If you have any objections, I'm happy to hear them, though I may not pay attention to them.
No objections. Simply, I would suggest caution. I have heard that my brethren are not well received in this country per se.
That's fair. Seems we're having all sorts of people walk through today.
Well, this is an inn, if I'm correct. Is that not
Yep.
the purpose of one?
I mean, yes, you have people come through, but not people of such interesting groups.
I found that in our society there is hardly anyone who is not interesting in their own way.
You make a point. I might take that with me. I'd write it down, but I don't think that'd be very useful.
You could always write it and have someone else read it out to you when you forget.
Now that is an idea. But he seems like a nice man.
He called me his child.
He is representing a priest from the, well, Christian church. They are named, well, they are addressed as father. Therefore, they address the people that they talk to as child.
In my experience, I find the foreigners to be a funny lot. If you don't mind me pointing out, Miss Irene, you do this weird crouchy thing when other foreigners approach.
It is called a curtsy. It is the, well, standard greeting for a lady to perform where I came from. I understand that etiquette here is quite different, and I hope I will be able to learn from someone with more experience than I have.
I'm sure you'll pick it up in no time.
I can only hope so. I would hate to insult anyone. So, Mr. Minori?
That would be me. How can I help?
May I inquire? I am wondering about the city that we find ourselves in, Kyoto.
Ah, Kyoto. Lovely place.
I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about it.
Of course, I'm always happy to share.
Whenever it best suits you.
Be more kind that has the joyous gift to enjoy food, wouldn't you?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Ah. There's an obvious deflation.
I will buy
I
some
am-
rice, Minori.
Yes. I'll think about that. I'll think about that later. Yes, I'm sure I can help you with giving you a rundown of the city. What's gone on? You arrive at a very interesting time. A lot more fire than normal.
You said a lot more fire than normal?
Yeah, I went to the moon viewing and a big green fire popped down. And then that weird fella just appeared in the middle of the room.
Oh god, I'm gonna make a subterfuge roll there because green fire, fuck. Because last time Irene saw green fire, that was over 300, over 300 years ago. She was smack down right in the middle of it.
I wasn't paying incredibly much attention. I knocked over the food table in the dilemma.
You certainly have odd priorities.
On a
Is
side
me,
note,
2 successes on my subterfuge.
is me or are there two Evans?
that was your grandfather who popped up and decided to do some hilarity.
There are currently 2 Evans. I'm not sure which one to. Okay, the other one removed itself. That works.
I like to imagine the silence from Evan was him battling the other Evan.
There can only be one Highlander.
Oh dear. This green
But
fire.
hang on. Hey, Nakidori.
Yes.
You know how we were talking about green flame and explosions?
Yes.
And a weird guy who popped. That was your grandfather. You know that.
I know what.
That was your grandfather. You know that he did that. There you go.
This
Also, with
green.
anyone with any ability to sense if someone's lying when he's talking about someone accidentally knocking over the food table in the panic, he is obviously lying about that.
Oh yeah. So if any of you here wish to oppose the manipulation subterfuge roll, they will roll perception plus their empathy at a standard difficulty of 6, and they need to get more successes than the manipulation subterfuge. So if you guys want to do that, you can. If you've got Auspex, that lowers the difficulty.
Fuck it, might as well.
I will roll as well.
What was the roll again?
Perception plus empathy.
Yeah, I only have 2 successes. But Irene is definitely interested in this.
God damn, Minori's really good at lying about food.
Wow.
Would the perception specialty empathetic come into play?
Yes.
Will the manipulation specialty influential come into play?
No.
Ah.
This is, by the way, to oppose Saskia, to see how she reacts to the green
That's
fire.
6 successes.
All right, so everyone here basically can see through the fact that something about the reference of green fire has deeply unnerved Irene. She tried to put on a poker face, but you have all blitzed straight through the poker face. Continue.
That's fine. This green fire, was there anyone who was paying more attention to it? I would
I
like
think
to
I
learn
was
more
the
about
only
it.
one there.
I
I could
see.
talk to you. I could talk to you about the guy who popped out of it.
Please.
If you need his name, Minori, it's in the NPCs list.
That is where I'm looking. That is what I'm looking for. But just before I accidentally butcher this, is it Nakoro Saido?
Yep.
Yeah. The man in question is a person known as Nakoro Saido, the Yama King of the Howling Northern Wind. He is a very powerful man who was kicked out by Lord Naizen. Unfortunately, Lord Naizen has gone on an extended holiday without telling any of us. At least I hope that's what's happened.
This sounds slightly problematic.
Oh, most certainly.
Hang on, Fox, I've got to ask, what the fuck is the cat looking at?
Absolutely nothing.
Excellent. Continue.
But now he's an interesting man.
He certainly is.
She'll turn to the person who said he certainly is. Would you have any additional information? Were you there?
At the event
When-
that Minori's speaking of, no, I was not there.
I see. My apologies, I must have misunderstood you.
Yeah, he spoke something about the city ceasing to exist in about 3 months and like the water going red with blood. You know, usual spooky stuff.
Sounds a bit more than simple, spooky stuff, as you say it is, but...
Oh, I'm just hoping that while I ignore the problem, it will eventually go away. It never does. That's what I did with the Noodle Man. Now he has a thriving industry. God damn it!
You seem to
often
be
does.
very passionate about your rice cart.
Oh man.
Is this a long-standing rivalry with the Noodle Man?
I refuse to speak his name. And my rice is very good.
Evelyn just kind of giggles a little bit. Yes, your rice is very good, Minori.
This is It's not funny. This is a very serious situation. But anyway, I digress.
Nakijori hides her mouth behind one of her sleeves. It chuckles a little bit.
I was the best rice merchant in Kyoto till that one neonate came about. I think I'm okay.
Would you do me one more favor, Sir Minori?
How can I help?
Could you write down the name of this individual?
I may need to do something first, but I can.
What individual's name do you want, Saskia?
The green fire guy, because I mean, like, I cannot remember these names without having to looking them up. I doubt Irene can, because these are like completely different names from, like, you know, John or Peter or the names that she's used to. So she's asking him to write it down so that she can, you know, kind of
Minori's gonna go
remember
get
the
his
name.
pickle jar.
Okay. Minori will excuse himself for about 3 minutes. When he comes back in, he has two very, very bloody looking holes in his head into which he has forced two eyeballs that look unblinkingly.
Oh god.
There we go. Would any of you have a pen?
Suppose Irene has pen and paper. Or parchment or whatever. So yeah, she would hand it.
So yeah, once it's provided, he will then write down the name.
She'll yeah, she'll thank him. And puts it away.
Miss Irene, are you quite all right?
Of course. My my interest lies in, well, inexplainable events, or at least from a mortal's point of view, inexplainable events. So naturally, these things are of interest to me. She's so lying. If you want to oppose that, I'm willing to make a subterfuge roll. Even though I suck at it.
Sure, why not?
I'll roll against that.
Evelyn also will, 'cause she's very good at telling when people are lying.
Is it just
Suggestion,
the
yeah.
same rule as before? The perception.
Perception, empathy. Yeah. So anyone who has more than 2 successes, she's not necessarily lying, but there's definitely so much more behind this story than what she's actually saying. Like, this is not just oh, I'm interested in these events. This is definitely way more than that.
That's 7 successes.
Oh, sorry, my dear. Just one little brief note, because I can understand the mistake. They have a specific power that lowers the difficulty. So for you, Fox, it's difficulty 6, not difficulty 3.
Oh, okay.
So you still get 1 second. 1, 2. What do you have? What is your? Do you have a specialty in either your perception or your empathy?
Hold on. I don't think so. No, I don't.
Wait, hang on. Is one of them at 4?
Oh, perception's at 4. Sorry.
Then you should have a specialty in it, my dear. I'm happy for you to make one up after this. For everything you have at 4, you get a specialty.
Okay. Yeah, I did not do that. That's my bad.
No worries. It's your first sheet. No worries.
I always forget my specialty, so really don't worry about it.
So yeah,
I mean, Evan, it
everyone
took me
knows
what?
Huh?
I was gonna say it took me 4 months to get fucking specialties on Katya because I kept forgetting.
It's fine. I'm good, Steve.
When I discovered specialties were a thing, it became like my number one favorite thing to fill in.
I love kind of weird appearance specialties. Like my favorite one to date has to my favorite comedy one to date has to be appearance 5, booty, 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 booty.
I remember us sitting idly in a call, and I just remember you saying that you could actually do like appearance 5 and have your specialty just be a massive dick.
I mean, definitely one of my favorites is Austin's one, which was Daddy, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, he has that as an appearance specialty on his Jeff Goldblum face-claimed character in Orlando.
Amazing. So basically, all of you can tell that when she says, "Oh, I just want to meet this, I want to talk to this guy because of weird phenomenon," she's totally lying. She wants to talk. She wants to meet him for a different reason.
It's not really that she wants to meet him. Well, there's definitely more behind it than just simply, oh yeah, I'm interested in unexplainable events.
I mean, Evelyn probably remembers the whole Mary the Black situation, so...
Probably, but Evelyn hasn't seen the end of it.
No, she got the fuck out of there before that.
It would seem you have history with this, but I'm not going to inquire.
Thank you.
I tell you what, guys, this probably seems like a good place to leave off soon because I know that one of you has to get going in about 20 minutes anyway. So the evening will draw to a close. Several people have met. They've had pleasant conversation. And on that note, we will end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Memories of the Cherry